Hopefully, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, 4D. Good evening, Viv.
Good evening, 4D. Good evening, Bronze.
It is Thursday, the 13th of August, 2026. Storm the Teacup, episode 77. This week brought to you by the chemical element in the periodic table that has the atomic number 77, symbol IR, and it is, any guesses?
Uranium.
Right, yeah.
No.
Oh, no, heavier. Don't know.
Yeah, it's not iron either.
No.
Is iridium. Iridium.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard of that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Iron is Fe, I think.
That's right,
is,
yeah.
yes.
Isn't that where we get ferrite from?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and ferrous and all those
ferrous.
derivatives. Yeah.
A couple of interesting little things about the number 77. It is the smallest positive integer, a whole number, requiring 5 syllables in its name. So 77. That's the smallest number with 5 syllables in its name. And it's the sum of 3 consecutive squares. 4 squared plus 5 squared plus 6 squared equals 77.
Right.
It is also the sum of the first 8 prime numbers. So if you add up the first 8 prime numbers, you get 77. And during World War II in Sweden at the border with Norway, 77 was used as a password because the tricky pronunciation in Swedish made it easy to instantly discern whether the speaker was native Swedish, Norwegian, or German.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Just on accents. Beautiful. Yeah.
Well, in the Pacific, the Marines, when they were fighting the Japanese, did the same thing with passwords. They would always have passwords with lots of L's in them because the Japanese couldn't pronounce the letter L the same.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if this is an interesting one. I love saying this one, that Germans can't pronounce the word squirrel, and English-speaking people can't say the German word for squirrel, which is, and I'm probably going to mash it up, it's Eichhörnchen. But our mouth won't let us make that one, and they can't say our version. And I love that as a strangeness of our languages.
Yes, good that, very good.
Yeah, I mean that's quite a common thing across all languages. Some languages are just not used to making certain sounds, and so they find it really difficult to make that sound. It's quite a common thing. Yes, and also in certain numerological systems based on the English alphabet, number 77 is associated with Jesus Christ because the word Christ, if you take the individual letters and assign them the numbers they appear in the alphabet, like C is 3, H is 8, R is 18, and so on. You add up the numbers of each letter, and it equals 77.
Interesting.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm very skeptical about numerology because it all depends on what language you use. Because you choose another language, the alpha, and they have different alphabets, and it all goes to pot. It doesn't make any sense. So it's kind of weird numerology. It's a bit crap. In that respect. And finally, the total area of Prince Charles Island is 3,676 square miles, which is in Nunavut, Canada, and it is the 77th largest island in the world. A few notable events of 1977 in the UK, as I'm sure Viv will remember, probably not 4D so much. It was the Silver Jubilee year, celebrating 25th year of the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. And I remember it quite well because everywhere you went, there were Union flags. People were flying them in their windows, on their houses, they're out in the streets. They were everywhere. And a mass kind of show of patriotism and sort of royal fandom celebration. And contrast and compare to today, and people are getting arrested for doing that. It's insane how much things have changed. Yeah, okay. January 19th, snow falls in Miami, Florida. This is the only time in the history of the city that snowfall has occurred. It also fell in the Bahamas. January
Oh.
20th, January 20th, Jimmy Carter is sworn in as the 39th President of the United States after defeating Gerald Ford in the 1976 election. February the 18th, the American Space Shuttle program, the first test flight of the Space Shuttle Enterprise. So I believe that was the first space shuttle. March the 10th, the rings of Uranus are discovered, or Uranus, be less controversial. March March 27th, Tenerife disaster. A collision between KLM and Pan Am Boeing 747s at Tenerife, Canary Islands, kills 583 people. This becomes the deadliest accident in aviation history.
Yeah, I remember that. Remember it
Yeah.
well. It's very
Yeah, I
difficult
don't
to
know.
land, apparently, because they've got Mount Tede or Teje on the quite close. It's a tricky one to land.
Yeah, it reminds me of the airport in Sicily, in Catania. They have Mount Etna, which, strangely enough, has recently erupted.
Oh God, tell
And,
me about it.
yeah, and back in when was it? The early 90s, I went to Sicily, and I went to Palermo, but the plane came into Catania Airport, and then it had to do a short hop from Catania over to Palermo. And when the plane takes off from Catania, there's Mount Etna right in front of you. And it seems like almost as soon as the plane leaves the ground, it does a hard bank to avoid crashing into the mountain. It's a bit
Have
crazy.
you seen? Have you seen that one that's right on the beach and the planes are really low and yet people are sunbathing underneath? It's somewhere in, I think, Caribbean, Maldives. I can't remember where.
No, I know the Hong Kong airport airstrip was very much like that. It kind of just ended, and then there's a sea. It was very restricted in Hong Kong, I believe. Um, yeah. Yeah, you could. Yeah, I don't know about the one in Bahamas, but I'll take your word for it. March
Yeah.
28th. March 28th, the Oscars. Best Picture was Rocky, and Best Actor Peter Finch for Network, and Best Actress Faye Dunaway also for Network.
Yes. Excellent. Good film. Very good film, I thought.
Yeah, I've
Remind
not
me
seen
what
that.
network's about.
Like a broadcast network, TV network station, TV station, news
No,
station.
I don't think I've seen it then. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it years and years ago. I can't really remember much about it, but April 9th.
Some amazing bits in Network. You've got to watch it. Just when Ned Beatty takes the TV newsreader into his room and he tells them how the world really works, and it's wow.
Oh, is that what that famous clip is from? Where he just starts shouting at the camera, sort of thing. You got to wake up and get out
that's
there.
the one. That's the
Right.
one. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah, one where he says, "Oh, I'm just not going to take it anymore." And that one.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to put that on my to watch list then. Yeah, thanks.
April 9th, Spain legalizes the Communist Party of Spain, which had been outlawed since 1939. How did that turn out? They seem to have a communist prime minister these days, so whatever. That's the pendulum swinging back from Francoism, obviously, too far the other way, too far in the other direction. April the 11th, London Transport's Silver Jubilee Route Master buses are launched. I remember those. They were silver. They were painted silver, and you used to get. That was back in the day when you had the ticket conductor who used to come around and collect your fares and used to reel off your little ticket. And they were normally white, but on those ones they were yellow. And as kids, we were like, "Oh, look, a yellow ticket!" And of course, being silver rather than red. All the buses are red, of course, in London, but those ones were silver, so it was quite a nice thing. April 26th, opening of Studio 54 in New York. Famous Studio 54 club.
No idea what that is.
Studio 50. Oh, it was a famous club, famous nightclub. in New York, obviously. A den of iniquity, all sorts of shenanigans went on there.
Oh,
And
okay.
actually, apparently, it was the place to go. It was the place to go at the time. And if you know the song "Le Freak" by Chic,
Mm,
Yeah.
I
but
freak
barely, but
out. Well,
yeah,
that was inspired by Studio 54 because the guys went down there, tried to get in, and they wouldn't let them. They wouldn't. They were turned away. And so I think it was Bernard Edwards was saying, so we just, or was it Nile Rodgers? They said, we just went back to our apartment and we were jamming this idea. And it started off as, fuck you. And
right.
it turned into Le Freak. Um, where are we? May 25th, Star Wars is released in the United States,
What an
1977.
amazing day that was.
Mm.
I often say it did. It really shaped my childhood. It made me wonder about the stars, and I've never stopped since. It was such a boys' film. It's a shame they don't make hero films like that anymore. Where it's just a basic. This is the baddie. He's dressed in black. This is the goodie. He does nothing but good stuff, and we're going to save the princess, and the day's going to be good. It's a really good film.
Yeah, it was. It was. I mean, I remember it as well, obviously, and it was a groundbreaking film. It was like
Mm.
I remember seeing clips of it. They used to have like film review shows on TV, and it would have been Film 77 with Barry Norman, and he used to show clips of all the latest films and do his commentary. And I remember seeing it and just being blown away. I was like, wow! It was like nothing I'd ever seen before.
Yeah, for the first time, you looked at spaceships and they actually looked like they were flying in space and having dogfights, and it was, what boy doesn't want to watch dogfights and stuff in space? But you're right, it was all that miniaturization, the slow cam that they invented, their whole, because he went on to create THX, wasn't it? And that was all because of what they did from Star Wars, and obviously became an extremely rich man because of it as well. But yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, Industrial Light and Magic was the company, wasn't it? It did all those special effects.
That's right. Yes, all in London. All British. Again, flying my own flag, but yeah, all those early puppeteers and those early mechanics that put all that together were all sort of based in London, and that brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. June 25th, Roy C. Sullivan of Virginia is struck by lightning for a seventh time. Imagine being struck by lightning 7 times. You must think there's something wrong with you.
And even me as a youngster, I've heard that story. That man must have been very famous for that. Yeah, the most
Yeah.
unlucky or luckiest man in the world, whichever way you look at it.
Yeah, I guess he survived. So if he got struck 7 times, then he survived at least the first 6. So yeah, that'll give you a complex, won't it? August 12th, the NASA space shuttle named Enterprise makes its first test free flight from the back of Boeing 747 shuttle aircraft.
And that's 77 as well, right?
Yeah. August 15th, the Big Ear, a radio telescope operated by Ohio State University as part of the SETI project, receives a radio signal from deep space. The event is named the WOW signal.
The WOW signal. Yeah.
Notation made by a volunteer on the project.
Do you know, you don't hear much about that anymore? The WOW signal. That was, again, I was born in the right time. It was all crazy back then. Mad. Yeah.
October 18th, German autumn, Red Army faction members Andreas Baader and Karl Rasper and Gudrun Enslin, all 3 of them, members of the Baader-Meinhof group, commit suicide in Stamheim prison, the same as Ulrike Meinhof the year before.
Yeah.
Yeah, their supporters still claim they were murdered. So yeah, more of the same.
Yeah. Well, don't know about them 3, but Meinhof. There's some serious questions about her. You know what happened
October,
to her.
yeah. Um, October 27th, British punk band Sex Pistols released Nevermind the Bollocks. Here's the Sex Pistols on the Virgin record label. Despite refusal by major retailers in the UK to stock it, it enters the UK album charts at #1 the week after its release. What is now probably known as the Streisand effect. Banned
Yeah,
something.
if you want to get something to #1, you tell everyone not to listen to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is an interesting little one. November 26th, a part of Britain's Southern Television Network was taken over for 6 minutes by a voice claiming to be called Vrillon.
Vrillon, another good one. Yes.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Who claimed to be the representative of the Ashtar Galactic Command. And he took over the network.
I've got that recording somewhere because it still makes the hair go up on the back of my neck. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great, but it was a complete hoax and it was debunked. It was actually turned out to be a local pirate DJ who did that. Can't remember
I haven't
the guy's
heard
name.
that one that has been debunked. Oh, don't ruin it for me.
Sorry, yeah, it was a complete hoax.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, somebody investigated it and it kind of caught my attention. I thought, well, that's interesting, and I followed that. They did a series of kind of YouTube videos or something about the investigation, and it's very interesting. But yeah, it turned out to be just a pirate DJ. I'll try and dig it out. I thought I might have posted it up here ages ago. I'll try and dig it out and post it up again. But yeah, it's quite entertaining. So yeah. And there you go. That's notable events of 1977.
Excellent.
Lovely. And interesting, your last one was about stuff that wasn't allowed, and my first one is kind of the same. So that leads me straight on to this day in history. So we're talking about the 13th of August. In 1605, controversial play Eastward Ho by Ben Jonson, George Chapman and John Merston premieres at the Blackfriars Theatre, London, leading to 2 of the authors in prison for offending the King, James I.
Yeah.
Many of you know about that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Very, very quickly, just because I wanted to look it up because I didn't know anything about it. So Eastward Ho is a citizen or city comedy about Touchstone, a London goldsmith and his 2 apprentices, Quicksilver and Golding. The play is highly satirical about social customs in the early modern London, and its anti-Scottish satire resulted in the notorious scandal in which King James was offended to the point that he bloody put 2 of the authors in prison for it. So yeah.
Yeah.
That was 1605. And then 1608, John Smith's story of Jamestown's first days is submitted for publication. So that's the explorer John Smith popping over to early America, Jamestown, and basically reporting on how the locals, or how the indigenous population were living, and reading up, we get one of his famous quotes. He was such a leader and such a leader of people and that sort of a thing, that his famous quote was that he would say to people, now I've lost it, "He that will not work shall not eat." So that was the kind of guy.
That's it. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Yeah. He that shall, I remember that very well, that quote. He that shall not work shall not eat. Yes.
In a way, a very fair representation of, you've got to do stuff yourself to be able to look after yourself, I suppose.
Well, yeah, but that's all gone.
Really.
I know he was very authoritarian. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's all gone now. I mean, he that shall not work shall be given universal social credit.
Right.
Yeah,
this day in history. Go on.
On the
no, you're right. And I thought Yeah, I thought, no, moving swiftly along, you're right, it just upsets me. But anyway,
Yeah.
1704, so another 100 years now. Battle of Blenheim, Second Battle of Hochstadt. Hochstadt, I think it's more. A combined British, German, and Dutch army led by John Churchill, 1st Duke of Marlborough, decisively beats the French and the Bavarians.
There we go.
Yep. This day, 1784, British Parliament accepts East India Company Act 1784, bringing the East India Company's rule in India under the control of the British government.
Interesting.
Mm.
East India Company was running amok, doing all kinds of shady things. I've got a whole book called The Anarchy by William Dalrymple, which I've got to read. But God, will I ever read all my books? I don't know. But anyway, sorry. Carry on.
No need for sorries. From there we go to 1814. The Anglo-Dutch Treaty, Cape of Good Hope, is formally ceded to the British, and the transportation of slaves is prohibited. And again, I wanted to quickly look into this, but this is basically the Anglo-Dutch Treaty of 1814, also known as the Convention of London, was signed by the United Kingdom and the Netherlands. And basically, the part that it was England based. There was at the early time of England saying, "Look, we shouldn't be shipping slaves. You know, human beings have more worth than that." So I wanted to bring that little bit up. That was an interesting. And what year was that again? It was
1814.
1814. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it cost Britain a lot.
Cost us a lot, indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, I demand reparations for my rights. They've taken away my right to own a slave. How dare they? Where's my reparations?
Yeah.
What the Romans ever done for us? Yeah. No, I actually, and all joking aside, again, that's another. I'm proud to say that I come from the country that was one of the first countries to say, "Hang on, we're not going to deal in human beings." I don't know. I don't think my country is good these days. I've got a lot bad to say about it, but at least that when they slag my country off, that's one of the things that I like to say. Well, you can't slag our history off that much. We were pretty good.
Yeah, we did a hell of a lot of good things.
No hell of a lot. Yeah. This day in history, in 1908, King Edward VII of Great Britain meets Emperor Franz Joseph of Austria at Ischl, ISCHL. I have no idea how that's said.
It's chill. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the king tries to persuade the emperor to advise Germany against aggressive anti-British policies. That was 1908. I don't know how that went, but
he basically they were cousins. That was a weird thing. Prior to World War One, like the Kaiser and the King of England and the Tsar of Russia, they were all cousins. They were all related.
Right.
Tsar Nicholas. Franz Joseph was Austrian, wasn't he? He was the ruler of the Austro-Hungary Empire.
That's right. Yes.
Kaiser Wilhelm was of Germany, and the King of England and the Tsar of Russia were all cousins. They're all related.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Another great one if you're English and you love being English. This day in history, 1913, the invention of stainless steel by Harry Brernley of Sheffield, England, and that's obviously where we get Sheffield steel from. But 1913, another one where you think, so we only discovered or made stainless steel in 1913. I thought it would have been way before that, but there you go.
Yeah, well, obviously steel was steel thing, but stainless steel was something slightly different.
Yes, absolutely. But I still thought, I don't know. I thought it was sort of 1800s kind of a discovery. But anyway, This day in history in 1940. So, yeah, 13th of August, 1940, Battle of Britain, Hermann Göring's Eldertag, which is German for Eagle Day. The offensive takes place.
Adlertag, that was Eagle Day.
Adler, Eagle, Adler.
When
Right,
you speak
yes.
German, you should know this. You're the German
Yeah,
speaker.
I was going to say I didn't say the word eagle that much. I didn't really know that one at all. Anyway, intended to destroy the Royal British, the Royal Air Force. And in the end, 47 to 48 German aircraft were shot down, and the RAF lost only 25 planes. So on a mission that was supposed to take down the RAF, we actually came out victorious.
Yeah.
This day in history in 1944, so a couple of years later, the Allied generals Bernard Montgomery, Miles Dempsey, and Omar Bradley discussed the future breakthrough in the European theatre during World War II. And I'm going to guess those talks went pretty well, because that's 1944, so it didn't take long after that to sort of finish it off.
Yeah, well, I mean, so what? August 13th. So that would have been what, a couple of months after D-Day. So I mean, there was still the failed Operation Market Garden, where they tried to cut up through Holland to Arnhem to get around the German defences, which failed dismally. So there was still a lot of work to be done.
Oh yeah. Oh goodness, yeah, true. Yes, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And actually, same day, same year, 1944, the British 8th Army occupies Florence.
Ah, yeah, soft underbelly.
Yeah.
Churchill's soft underbelly. That's what he called Italy.
He did.
The soft underbelly of Europe, which turned out to be the tough old gut of Europe, because it was extremely hard going getting up through Italy.
13th of August 1946, Britain diverts illegal immigrants bound for Palestine to Cyprus. And then lastly, this day in history in 1951, Great Britain and Iraq sign a new oil contract. So there you go. That's the 13th of August in the history books.
Yeah, very good. Very good indeed.
So has anyone melted yet? It's been extremely hot today. It's been scorchio.
I'm melting. It's been lovely.
Oh, you would say that. It's been absolutely horrible.
No, it has been pretty good. No, or I mean, I know I'm in
nice. You're right. Yeah,
I'm in an air-conditioned office. I know, but even so, it's lovely when I went out at lunch and walking there and especially walking back. Yeah, it's hot. If anyone's been to Spain, or I don't know, Italy or Portugal, it gets really hot over there. People cope.
Yeah, not everybody.
I know what you're saying. I don't like to complain. Absolutely not.
We'll all be moaning in the winter anyway. It's too cold.
Yeah, we'll be pining for the summer come November. That's for sure. But not everybody likes the hot weather.
No, true.
There's always a few people who don't like it. I like it. I do like the hot weather because we don't get enough of it. When we do get it, it's really nice. But it's just been going on. I mean, we've had like what, a month, 2 months of the weather like this, of being really just hot and sunny every day, and I know it's really nice. It's like you can imagine living somewhere where this is the norm every day, and you can imagine you do start to miss a bit of cooler weather sometimes. when every single day is hot and sunny, you must kind of get used to it.
Yeah, I was thinking that today because our weather is so variable. But for about quite a while, what is about a month? It's been really hot almost every day.
It would be nice to get a nice rainfall, though. That would be quite welcome.
Yeah, I think the ground really wants it. It really needs it. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so apart from that,
I was saying beginning before we started recording, and before Viv reminded me to even record. But it's been another week of lots of things going on as well. Uh, it's just craziness. America as well as England, but just here on our side of the waves. And also I wanted to start with it's kind of breaking news to us, but whenever someone's listening to this, it's not breaking news. But a train has just been derailed in East Sussex. I don't know if you guys had heard that. I just heard it on the Dan Wootton show. That was all.
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I hadn't heard about that. No.
But I was going to start it with the. I'm sure you guys have seen this incident with a chap with the baseball bat coming out of the shop.
Oh
No.
God. Oh geez, that was
No.
unbelievable.
What happened?
Let me explain to you, mate. It's absolutely crazy. So a young guy, I'd say 25-ish. He's gone into a sports store, bought a baseball bat. He's coming out of the store. The baseball bat's still wrapped up as he's just purchased it in the shop. And this 4'0" imbecile of a police officer just launches himself at him, tries for about 5 minutes to arrest him by bear hugging him, realizes he and the guy doesn't hurt the copper, doesn't do anything offensive. He just holds the baseball bat down in a non-offensive manner and says, "Mate, I've just bought this. I'm going to play baseball with my mates. Mate, please don't do this. I want to play baseball." For 5 minutes, this copper wrestles with him, finally loses his temper, gets his spray out, sprays the guy pretty much point blank in the face with these crappy sprays that they have these days. It doesn't even do much to the poor guy either, but they finally gets him down, and then the wagons and the police motorbikes arrive, and they all sort of pin him down and arrest him and throw him in nick for buying a baseball bat.
Yeah.
Oh,
Insane.
that. Yeah, I have heard about that. What
Yeah,
the
and
hell?
Instant,
What the actual hell?
Absolutely. And since the incident, the black belt barrister, which I'm sure you guys have heard of, has kind of said he's going to help him out pro bono. It's absolutely ridiculous. Not too long ago, I remember watching a video where the police were asking the Muslims nicely to put their weapons down because it could be wrong for them to have weapons. And these were knives and baseball bats that were actually going into a situation to be used as weapons. And they kindly asked them to put them down. This guy comes out of a shop, clearly is not going to hurt anyone. He wants to go and play a game. And he's treated like an absolute scumbag. Again, this two-tier system in this country is just overwhelmingly sickening.
Yeah, I mean, it's once again, it's an example of the police anti-white racism on behalf of the police. Just assuming, I mean, this, like you said, the baseball bat was brand new. It's still in his wrapper. It was in his bag, and the copper just goes at him. And it's like I just bought this in a shop. If I'm not allowed to buy this, then why are they selling them in the shop? For a start, you need to go and have a word with it's insane. And then all of the people, witnessing it, all the passers-by, they're all going, "He's just bought it, mate. He's still in the wrapper. He's just bought it." And it's unbelievable the idiots they have working for the police now. I mean, and the thing is, this guy probably will. I mean, if he's getting pro bono from the black belt barrister, he probably will, be exonerated. He should be, because he wasn't doing anything wrong. But still,
he's already dropped all the charges, and I thought to myself, I don't know what charges they would have had against him.
Exactly.
Drop what charges?
I mean, that police officer needs to be sacked, basically.
Yeah, because if the guy was going to attack someone with a baseball bat, quite clearly that idiot couldn't have taken him down.
Yeah, I know. This has got to be stopped. This is not being addressed. This type of policing, this malpractice by police, it's got to be stopped. And it's obviously not, because they're still behaving like idiots. It's insane. It's insane. That guy needs to be prosecuted. That copper
Yeah.
He needs to be sacked and he needs to be prosecuted. And this guy, if you know, I really hope he does sue them, right? Sue the police, which he's got every right to do. But once again, it's kind of like, you know, is that actual individual is the procedure, you know, are the guidelines that he thought he was operating by going to be tightened up or changed because of it? If he does sue the police, good luck to him. But that's taxpayers' money if he wins.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
I mean,
it's not.
what's going to be the charge for this anyway? He's just bought a baseball bat. So what's going on? What they thought?
It's
What do they think?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
and even during the arrest, he didn't do anything wrong.
yeah, I mean, he did resist. He was resisting. Okay,
Yeah,
but
you're allowed to. You know, by law, you are allowed to resist. You're not allowed to use resistance over resisting. You're not allowed to be violent. But he was resisting because he had a right to say, "Excuse me, I've just bought this baseball." And in fact, the bit that the black belt barrister, God, that's hard to say, pointed out was that. And again, as a guy that suffers with PTSD, it's absolutely true. He said the problem he has with the whole incident is that the copper comes up from behind, doesn't announce who he is, just throws his arms around him, doesn't say why, doesn't say I'm arresting you, just starts wrestling with him. And he said with someone else, he could have been hurt. And again, there's a lot of people that have issue with someone grabbing them from behind. And you can't do that. You've got to say, right, you're under arrest. And then he could have said, "Why, mate?" Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he should have. Yeah, he's completely out of order. The police. I mean, it's funny because I told that joke about the UK police turning up, and 10 minutes later, a crime happens. You know, it's like that's exactly what they did. You know,
the only crime was the copper. The copper was aggressive, violent, and obnoxious.
He just didn't follow procedure at all. No. At all. You know, it was just like some random criminal coming up and jumping on the guy and trying to bring him down. That's how he was acting. So yeah, I mean, geez, the police in this country are a joke, really. Put up with it.
And it leads Andre Walker. I was just trying to catch up on the news. I was just listening to what's going on with Andre Walker at the moment. So it's the same sort of thing. They were doing some sort of dinner thing for America relations. I can't remember what the dinner. Can you remember what it was they were hosting?
No, it wouldn't have been something like CPAC or something like that, would it? Some
no,
kind of thing
but I can't remember whatever. Some conservative thing with America, and they were hosting something. And these people burst in and started disrupting the place as they do. This kind of stop oil type people, those kind of idiots. And Andre Walker dragged him out and sort of chucked him out of the place, and they carried on with their dinner. And since then, he'd been arrested, or he'd been charged, and he'd been in court recently. And I don't know if either of you two listen to Andre Walker, but he is a bit of a hothead, and I am as well, so I don't mind that. But apparently he sort of said to the judge in court, "You're a cock. I don't care what you do to me. You're an idiot, blah, 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 this, that, and the other." And they dropped all the charges. They're not going to do anything about him calling the judge a cock. But it's just this you know, the cracks are showing in this country. The ridiculous laws, this baseball bat, the two-tieredness. Of course, he has the right to drag some protesters out of a dinner. You shouldn't break into a house. Surely there's some sort of law for that. Anyway, you know, it's just it's another ridiculous thing.
It is, yeah. It's kind of reacting. You know, yeah. I mean, these people in the first place should not have been doing what they were doing, and they should be prepared to you know, accept the consequences of their actions, which was being dragged by the neck and chucked out because of what they were doing. So that should be cut and dried. They're the ones who should be prosecuted for doing it in the first place. It's not like he harmed them or you know, whatever. He wasn't, you know, overly violent with them. No. He just you know, he did the right thing. So it's just I don't know, it's just insane. If the judge tried to, I mean, they dropped the charges, so fair enough. But still, it's this process. It keeps happening again and again and again. You know, the police, you know, do make these crazy arrests with these trumped up charges, and they end up getting dropped because they're just ridiculous, and everyone can see they're ridiculous. But it's just a complete waste of time and money in the first place. They shouldn't be doing it.
Andre Walker's interesting to me as well. I didn't know much about him until the last year or so, and he's like I say, he's quite hot-headed. He just swear a lot, and he does get to the point quite ferociously, if you will. And but he, as the reason he called the judge this four-letter C word was because he's adamant on the bigger picture. You know, he's saying we've been taken over, and you know that our laws are from someone else. And he was saying, you know, we shouldn't blame the organisations. They're run by. He does the kind of Q stuff. You know, I'm very interested in that. The bigger picture. Yeah, yeah.
Has he really? Oh, okay. I didn't realise he was up on the Q stuff.
No, I didn't mean that. I don't know that, but he's very much that kind of. He's looking at the bigger picture. He very much talks about how it's good against evil. He constantly says very Q-esque things. He's very much into this bigger idea that England's been taken over and he's constantly all of our institutes have been taken over. We've got to get our country back. He's a very deep into it. Don't know what money's behind him. I don't know much about him, but even, you know, saying what he said to the lawyer, to the judge, sorry, he seems to wield a sort of power that you and I don't possess in the court systems.
Well, I mean, he is kind of he's a journalist, is he? He's been a journalist for quite a few years now, so he does have a kind of certain amount of clout. You know, he does have kind of similar to the Alison Pearson case as well, which happened a few months back. Happened the end of last year actually, where the police knocked on her door on what was it, Remembrance Sunday, for a tweet she put out. And it all went to court, and they end up dropping the charges, and she got compensation. But you know, it's kind of like they have the backing of their media, their media base. You know, they have a voice. They have quite a strong voice, and it's very easy for them to get support. It's not like they're just some random person on the street who nobody's ever heard of. So I guess they do feel they have a certain amount of strength to fight these things, which is fair enough, which is okay, you know, if they're doing it for the right reasons. But Fordy, you must have seen this. Talking about cracks showing, did you see that last week General Flynn put out on X, the storm has arrived.
In a tweet. Yeah, very interesting, isn't it?
It is very interesting because he's basically been with regards to the whole Q thing, he's been, quite, outwardly against it. He's never endorsed it, and he's been quite critical of Trump as well. But there's a lot of people who say, no, this is all part of the psyop. They're working together. Flynn's totally clued up on the whole Q thing. He's totally on board with it, and this is just optics. And he wrote a book about fifth generation warfare, for God's sake. So he knows all about it.
He's a very interesting man. Very interesting. I've looked into him a lot. He's really interesting. Go on, Viv.
Yeah. No, I'm agreeing. I'm agreeing. Yeah.
And be careful when you say he's never endorsed Q, because this is another good one. Is that during the Q days, it was his family that held up 17 fingers with a big Q on the ground between their feet. So, and that's the only time. Okay, that wasn't him personally, I understand, but that's pretty much him endorsing Q. But since then, nothing. And again, if you're playing a spy game, it makes sense that you're going to distance yourself from something like that. He was also the one that coined the phrase, we have thousands of digital warriors ready to blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's plausible deniability, isn't it? That's what they call it. And he quite often, when he's publicly asked about Q, he's always said no. You know, he's always kind of just did this. You know, this not no. That's just that's nothing. Don't worry about it. But he regularly goes on. Does interviews with podcasters who are full on
Q. Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
so it's he's never too far away from it. He just never comes out and says it out loud himself. So
And he was the guy, for anyone that doesn't know, he was the guy that was put in prison by, am I right in saying it was Obama that put him in prison for, well, tried to say it was something to do with treason anyway, but a lesser version of that. But it was all jumped up. They wanted to get him in prison and he finally came out.
Yeah, he had some high-ranking intelligence job, and Obama sacked him. I think I can't remember the details now, but yeah, I think he did put him in prison, or at least he
Yeah,
tried.
yeah, he did a couple of years. Yeah.
But,
Anyway,
there's
very interesting.
Yeah, yeah, and talking about the cracks showing as well. I don't know if either of you are aware of this emerging faction of the Democrat Party in the US.
Yes, I am.
Called
Yes.
the
Yes.
Democratic Socialists, okay, and they seem to me that they've kind of emerged over the last few months, and they seem to be kind of the equivalent of what here in the UK the Greens have become. There seems to be some unholy alliance between extreme left communists and jihadist Islamists.
Yeah.
And they're the people who are, you know, the people who are out there just seem to have just absolute crackpots. I mean, Mamdani is one of them. Okay, the mayor of New York, he's starting to get exposed. And there was very interestingly, and the Democrat Party are the original, you know, the old school Democrats are crapping themselves because the last thing they want is for the Democrat Socialists to take over the Democrat Party, which is what they're trying to do, because then they will become absolutely unelectable because they are just so crazy, their views. And there was an election a couple of days ago for the governor of Wisconsin. Okay, it was a primary, so it was just Democrats kind of vying against each other to see who would be the nominee, the Democrat nominee for the governorship. And there was one of these Democrat socialists who was running, a woman called Francesca Hong, and she was an absolute nut job. She just wanted to kind of ban Thanksgiving and all the usual stuff, you know, ban police, abolish prisons, 86 Trump, all of this really crazy stuff. And on the election night, it was really weird because there was this other guy who was running against her, a guy called Crowley, I think his name was, who nobody had ever really heard of, but he was more of an establishment Democrat. And there was I think there was a late ballot drop. But beforehand, all the polls had Francesca Hong like leading by at least 20 points. Right? It was like she was a nailed on certainty to win it. And there was a ballot drop, a late ballot drop, which put her ahead. Everyone was going, oh, wow, okay, looks like she's going to win. And then about 2 o'clock in the morning, it flipped. And this other guy, Crowley, won it. And what it really, it's all about these USB sticks which came in with election data on them, but 5 of them had the wrong data on them, so they had to be sent back, and they said it's all human error and all this sort of the usual shenanigans. And what it really seems like is that the whole vote rigging apparatus, which they probably used in 2020 to get Biden in, they were using it in a Democratic primary against a Democrat because they were so scared of this woman winning. It would have been it would have ruined them because she, if she'd have actually won the primary and been the Democrat nominee, she probably would have gotten absolutely slaughtered in the actual election for the governor because she was so unelectable because they're all absolute nut jobs. So it was really, I mean, it was kind of astounding. It's like they're using their own tactics against themselves now. And there's also this other guy, Abdul El Sayed, as well. He's another one that seems to have popped up recently. Totally, with an Islamic agenda and far left communism and all of this sort of stuff. It's just going crazy. It's just, the exposure just seems to be accelerating now. I found that quite entertaining anyway.
Yeah. Didn't know much about that, but yeah, it's all very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, even Trump came out and said something like he really wants these Democratic Socialists to run against a Republican because he's like, this is they're just going to make it so easy for the Republicans to win because they're just so batshit crazy. Their policies are absolutely. absolutely ridiculous. So anyway, so things are kind of
The
getting
main
in trouble.
problem with leftism, the main problem with that side of things, is they end up eating themselves because their ways aren't based on any. I don't know how to sum it up, but their ways are so outlandish that obviously they end up eating themselves because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. It's fantasy land. They're so detached from reality.
And like you say, there's a lot of similarities between them and the Green Party, what the Green Party are now doing to Labour.
Yeah. I mean, there does seem to be running along similar lines. But what's happening to the Green Party here as well? It seems to be the same kind of thing.
I wonder what's behind all this. Why are these all suddenly sprung up? I mean, I know that movements will take inspiration from other movements. So where did this all start? The way the Greens. I mean, I know a bit about the history of the Green movement, and it has really taken some strange paths along the way. The Green movement started roughly in around, well, I don't want to give an exact date to it, but for example, there was a character called Jorian Jenks who was a member of the British Union of Fascists, which was an actual fascist movement in Britain in the 30s, and he was also an ecologist, so you can trace ecology back to him, perhaps back to many others, and it's taken a very weird path. You know,
I didn't know the Greens had been around that long. So they were.
Well, it's not the It's not the Green Party. The actual Green Party, I believe, was. I think they were started by one Jonathan Porritt. I may be wrong. But anyway, they came to prominence in the 70s. David Icke was, of course, in the Greens. A number of others.
I didn't know that. Right.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, it was. But I would suggest that it's probably. I mean, the fact that to me these Democrat socialists in the US seem to be very much running along the same lines of the Greens in this country. There may be some coordination there, and it's probably there's some kind of infiltration and manipulation going on, and what kind of springs to mind to me, excuse me, is the fact that they are getting desperate, so they are kind of having to push their agenda much harder. That they can't sit back and just sort of operate behind the scenes gradually anymore, because they are being pegged back, they are being exposed, and so it's kind of that they're getting pushed into a corner, like a cornered animal. They have to kind of push back a bit harder and a bit more obviously, and I kind of think that's probably what's happening.
Yeah, very few criminals just give up. That's the point.
Yeah. So they don't really their options are becoming limited,
and they don't realize that. This is the thing. This is the remarkable thing. They're so full of themselves, so totally captured by their own vanity and their own sense of righteousness, because it is indeed a cult. Some of these things have turned into a cult, a religious cult without God, or replacing God with something else, that they don't realize that they're hoisting themselves with their own petards. They're people. I mean, I suppose one of the things is the success of Mandami, but Mandami ran in a very liberal city, New York. He ran on certain programs which did attract people, but I don't know. Can you replicate that? Can that be replicated? I'm sure that's had a big influence on this, that they're copying Mandami because they're saying, look, oh, he won, so why can't we?
Well, no, I think it's just kind of that they're following their own plan. I mean, Mamdani was kind of a forerunner of the whole democratic socialists. Now, I think he was voted in before people really started to understand what that whole movement was about. And whether he was voted in or it was rigged or whatever, yeah, I mean, New York's very liberal, so they might have gone for it, thinking, oh, yeah, let's give this guy a try. He sounds good. I like what he says. Um, and I mean, even now, a lot of New Yorkers are starting to wake up and realize this guy is awful. What he's trying to do. I mean, he's implemented these government-run grocery stores, okay, where the prices are set, and only New Yorkers can buy from them. But guess what? They have to have ID. Oh, but you don't want ID for elections. Oh, but you have to have ID to buy from one of these grocery stores to make sure that you're a New Yorker. You know, it's just crazy. It's just the hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Yeah, taking it back to your man, General Flynn. You know, as you said, he said this is a fifth generational war that we're fighting. This is a war for knowledge. No, sorry, information. This is the information war. This is sort of what the computers have brought to us, and so. And the whole Q thing and everything that I believe in, that we're in the middle of a war right now, but the conventional way of war where there's bombers above you and there's tanks coming over the hills is not the way this war is being fought. And so when we say why are the Mandanleys, I can't say his name, and why the Green Party and these socialist Democrats, why are they popping up? Because to me, if you ask me, it's that final struggles of this new war where they've taken down the generals, and these smaller groups are running almost like headless chickens let's say for the last 100 years they've operated with a hierarchy that's passed down because they had to organize the world. It's not even just one country, as that horrible German man said, we have got into the cabinets of every country and all that sort of bullshit. So if they've taken a few of the big wigs, if there's few of them been taken down and the orders aren't being distributed as well, that's when your armies fall to shit because they're not getting a coherent message. And that's what it feels like right now. It's like the police, the NHS, the American systems, there's no cohesion. It's all falling apart. And I think that's because we've been, and this is Andre Walker again, and Q, and all the people we've mentioned say this is a battle of good versus evil. Whether you are a Christian and you believe in God, whether you are an atheist and you don't, whether you're a agnostic, this is the realities of any war. Any war is someone is good and someone is evil. There are good on both sides, but
well, a big factor as well is a lot of their money is being cut off. A lot of their funding is being
another one. I mean, we've now got the richest man in the world who's a trillionaire. That's going to have shaken the banking system and the foreign interests that are trying to control the world. That's a bit of a craziness. A one man trillionaire. I'm talking obviously about Elon Musk, who aligns himself somewhat with the right. I would have thought,
Did you hear, right? It's funny that he's expressed an interest in buying Britain.
Britain, yeah.
Well, in a few more years, he'll be able to afford it.
Yeah, pocket change. Yeah,
50 quid. It's yours, mate. That's about as much as it's worth right now.
That's it, yeah.
Whenever I read out my This Day in History stuff, I'm sometimes overwhelmed by the greatness of this country. And with all the things we talk about, there's nothing great about my country. And it really sickens me to say that. But we are still a great country. There is greatness here. But we are really on the edges we're really on our
it's just been taken. Yeah, it's just been taken down the wrong road by a bunch of corrupt, power-hungry people that they've just taken it and used it for their own ends and taken it right off the rails. And that's why we are where we are now. It's not irredeemable. We can't. Another thing about this country as well is while it has been going off the rails and going down the wrong track, it's kind of being propped up by our past glories. We always look to our past glories and say, yeah, well, look, we are a great country because of look at what we've done. But it's like, no, that's you can't depend on that anymore. You can't look to that and say, well, that's we are great because of that, because that's doesn't exist anymore. We might have done that in the past, but we're not on that track anymore. We're on a different track going
Yeah,
downhill.
yeah, but it's deeper than that. It's like the whole COVID thing. Now, we've got 13, 14, 15-year-olds, and I don't know if any of you sort of pay attention. I'm a bit of a people watcher anyway, so I do pay attention to people out there. But you look at the teenagers, they are effed. There is so many autism and autistic traits, and people just stood there shaking their head and talking to themselves. And in fact, I'd love someone to do it. I bet the rate of autism and Asperger's and all these sort of things with the immune system, I bet they're going through the roof with that generation. And you've also got that same age group that, they said they didn't form words as well because everyone had a mask on, so they didn't see lips moving. They didn't learn how to form relationships because the lack of the lips and the mouth movement had a... So, not just that they've taken us down a dark road, not only are we effed in many ways, but also as a population worldwide, we've been weakened, we've been poisoned, we've been given diseases that are really, knocked out the majority of people that would have been a working, intelligent bunch of people.
Yeah. Did you see that a WHO warehouse in Ukraine got bombed? Did you hear about that one? The World Health Organization. Yeah, it got bombed, and of course, the official line was the Russians did it. But there is additional speculation because they managed to move out a lot of the stuff that was in there before it got bombed, which kind of indicates they knew it was going to happen. And there's speculation that they were destroying evidence because they know what's coming down the tracks with the whole COVID exposure as well.
Is that what the Josh and Thingy were talking about?
I think it was them. Yeah, it might have been them, or it might have been the Lotus Eaters. I can't remember. It was one of those. But yeah, so that was very interesting.
Because doesn't that involve? Am I right in saying we've got the Brennan transcripts that are getting looked at the moment? Isn't that all to do with his double spy stuff working for the whoever it was in the Middle East?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, there's something about his transcripts are going to be coming out next week, and there's some dark stuff about him. So maybe he's going to be the next one in a Senate hearing. I don't know.
Yeah, apparently Bill Gates has been also subpoenaed as well to appear.
Yes, I'd forgotten about that. Well done. Yes, and that's in regards to the whole Fauci COVID thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So it's all starting to unravel.
And as I say, if I'm right and if my faith is good, then this is just the public showing of that. They've already got them. They already had, what was it? The Q file said we have everything. We have the files. We've got absolutely everything. And I guess that was the point. It was like, as I keep saying, it was this idea that they said, oh, we can't break all of this to the public in a 1-0. We're going to have to do it over what looks like a 10 to 20 year program. But and that's why I say the cracks are showing. It is, everyone is starting to complain about stuff, the two-tieredness and everything that's going on.
Yeah.
And I mean, and what's this? I'm kind of wondering about the the Andy Burnham's position and all this, because he just seems to be like the invisible man at the moment. Where is he? This is our new prime minister.
He needed a holiday, mate. It was stressful getting.
He's going to be doing a special tour around Britain for what's called. It's going to call it cost of living tour or something like that. Like a second-rate rock star. Who's trying to make a comeback. It's a pretty sad spectacle, really.
Yeah, because everyone knows that they go to the crowds that are going to worship the. Come to my house, mate. I'll tell you how it is and what I think about you.
He's not going to get a good reception if he's going to go around the former Red Wall towns in the north. He's not going to get a good reception. Imagine wandering into Middlesbrough. Come on.
all he's doing is picking the low hanging fruit, the shiny little baubles to dangle in front of people. You know, oh, I'm gonna cap bus fares. You know, and all these little stupid little things. You know, it's like, oh, I want to end homelessness. Yeah, right. Like you did in Manchester. No, you didn't do that. You know, and it's like, and when he gets asked about the real concerns, like the migrant boats crossing the channel, he's got nothing to say. Oh yeah, well, you know, it's you know the crossings are you know we're dealing with that. The crossings are coming down. The amount of people, it's like, no, you don't get it. And then apparently he said something like, oh, it's a very complicated it's a very complicated situation. It's going to take quite a long time to sort it out. It's like, no, it's not. Reform have come out to their credit and said they will deal with it within 2 weeks if they get into power. That's how, you know, and they obviously they haven't just come out and said that. They've obviously worked out a way that they can do it so it can be done. It's just, you know, oh, geez. I'm exasperated. I really am.
Yeah. Well, I won't worry about it too much. You know, it's.
But in effect, he's not going to do anything about it. Just like Starmer did not do anything about it.
Of course he isn't. Of course he isn't.
And now he's talking about moving migrants into what they call middle class areas. Now they're going to start spreading them out.
Yeah. Well, that's quite an interesting idea. I've had that idea for years.
Well, it's kind of I see it as accelerationism because you know if he does start doing that, he's going to start moving these migrants into communities which so far have managed to shield themselves from the realities of it all because they haven't had to deal with it. They live in their nice bucolic little, you know, communities, their nice little towns and this, that and the other. And they're just going to be, you know, slapped in the face with it. And it's going to wake a hell of a lot of people up, middle England, that need to be woken up about this.
Well, what worries me about this is what I think he actually means is that he's going to move them into the countryside. Have you seen what's happening in Norfolk? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I was watching that, thinking.
Yeah, that tiny Thetford and the village near Thetford. Yes,
I've heard quite a few stories. Boscombe, is Boscombe one of them? Is that one?
No, I don't think so.
There is quite a few things going on in that Norfolk area at the moment. You're right. I've heard a couple of stories.
Yeah, I mean, Thetford is on Norfolk-Suffolk border. I'm never quite sure.
Oh, sorry,
but I do know it's on Suffolk border, but sometimes I think of it as being in Suffolk, but it's on the border. But there's a place in Suffolk with an RAF base, which is quite a small little place, and they're going to move. They're planning to move thousands of the what should we call them? The doctors and engineers. Yeah.
Invading doctors and engineers.
That come to help us, the surgeons and and all those people that have come over to help.
They're gonna completely out. The thing is that they're going to completely outnumber at one fell swoop. They're going to completely outnumber the local communities by over 2 to 1 immediately. They're going to move them in, and all of a sudden, there's going to be at least twice as many of these invaders as there are in the local community, and it's just going to completely destroy them. The local communities, and they are up in arms about it. And there's more than one place that's happening, and there's more than one place that the locals are protesting about it as well.
Yeah. Oh, correct.
And also, it's all fine, and gentlemen, you're going off on one. You're really silly people because Edwina Curry has already sorted the situation out. I don't know if you heard, but today she's announced that we should open more. What's the correct way of saying? House of Disreputes to aid the migrants in their sexual needs.
Oh my
genuinely, she wants to stop the attacks on the British people by opening up a few whorehouses. I probably can't say that word. I'll cut that out. But yeah.
Well, Edwina Curry is famous for shagging John Major, so that tells me all I need. That tells me all I need to know about that woman and her judgment. So yeah.
What a joke. Again, when you look at the demise of our country, they're now asking for prostitution to stop rape. I mean, how dark and down the hole you go. It's fucking crazy.
Oh, my God.
Hold on. prostitutes charge money, all right?
And
And
they
so
haven't got any
that's
good point. Yeah.
as taxpayers. So we're going to be paying for all of these invaders to go to the local knocking shop and get their kicks that way, which probably not all of them will do anyway. They'll probably end up killing a few prostitutes while they're at it as well. Unbelievable. Absolutely.
Well, and it'd be, again, I'm trying to stick up for everyone. It's going to be disillusioned, abused young girls that go, it's going to make every situation worse. How fucking dead.
Yeah.
It is definitely good versus evil. Whatever you believe, this is good versus evil.
Yeah, and it's exposure. It's all exposure. It's all exposure. And the sooner that people in this country wake up and see it and actually realise what's going on and decide to do something about it, the better. But the question is, how much worse does it have to get before that happens? That's the problem. And will there still be a country get there?
That's what worries me all the time. Will we have anything worth saving at the end of this?
But anyway, gentlemen, I do believe it's time for Viv's bookshelf. What have you been reading this week, Viv?
I've started reading Alan Moore's From Hell, which is a graphic novel.
Feels like we're there now, but go on.
From Hell, is that the film was based on? There was a film called From Hell, wasn't there? With
it's the Jack the Ripper. It's a strange twist on the Jack the Ripper story. It's very odd at the moment. It's very, very dark. It's also the drawings are very good, but also some of them so far. There's a couple of there's a couple of panels which are very, very how can I put this? Explicitly sexual. And it's going to get darker. I know this. It's really interesting, though, what he's doing together with the illustrator. I mean, if you know Alan Moore, he wrote V for Vendetta. He also wrote Watchmen.
Great stories.
Yeah. So he's, as far as graphic novels go, this is in the top league. Along with those two and various others. It's really absorbing, but it's hard to understand at the moment. He's going into, I think I know where it's going. Even I've just started it a couple of days ago. It's basically it's going into a Victorian conspiracy involving Masonic orders and monarchy, and the artist Walter Sickert. I don't know if you know about Sickert, who was that
is the particular story which I've heard about Jack the Ripper. It's a very compelling story. It involves a certain branch of the monarchy, and the murders were kind of ritual Masonic murders to cover up. Walter Sickert. That's I've heard that story. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the many strands of what you could call what would it be called, ripperology or ripperdom or whatever it's called. The whole fascination people have with the Ripper story. I mean, in a sense, Jack the Ripper. I'm thinking about this. He's one of the first modern characters. This whatever he was, whoever he was. He certainly knew how to, how shall I put this without being too graphic, dissect a body.
If it was him, I mean, if it was him, though, if you go down the story that you've just outlined there, it may not have been him who did that, because they're saying that there is, that looking at how the bodies were left after they were mutilated, there is certain Masonic symbolism. So it may actually not have been just one person who did it.
Yes, indeed. I mean, it looks to me that in fact, in the early pages of when I'm reading this, Sir William Gull is involved as well, who was, I believe, a physician to Queen Victoria, or certainly close to the monarchy. So it does look like William Gull is involved. There's a number of the whole story opens with a couple of bent coppers as well, who seem to know the truth of this. So it's really interesting. I'm going to have to. It's a really long book, and you know what I feel about long books, especially in the summer. But I'm going to stay with it. I mean, I think Lord of the Rings will wait to the winter.
Oh, a
But
nice time for
yeah.
Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's
long dark evenings, yeah.
yeah, I think so. I think so. And once I've got my own writing out the way as well. But certainly From Hell. Oh dear, 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 dear.
Now, am I right?
It's a quality work of art, I tell you.
Am I right in saying, because I'm not as well read, obviously, as you? I'm more of a movie man. Is The Watchman about a very supernatural guy that's very, very intelligent?
Watchmen was made into a film.
So it
It,
is.
it,
Right.
it imagines superheroes, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, because I was going to say that's two very different lines of storytelling. There's the story about the fiction about the Ripper, and there's also a sort of superhero, and the Watchmen story is brilliant. And now that's based on the whole Bible thing, the Book of Enoch. I don't know if you know that, but yeah. So
Yeah,
all the Masonic stuff is in that as well. Is he the Masonic person telling the stories?
yeah, 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 yeah. I know.
I love the story of the Watchman, because the story revolves around that guy that sort of knows everything, and kind of it. I forget what he's called. I forget his superhero name, but he just knows everything, and he actually breaks down, doesn't he? And he becomes the thing he tried to. He becomes the evil he was trying to stop.
I don't know the Watchman, Alan. If this is Alan Moore, I don't know what Alan Moore's Watchman. I just know it. There was a film that was made for it.
Yeah, in the kind of 2000s, I think it was, somewhere around there. Yeah.
It was a weird filming. It was a kind of mixture of animation, or it was. I can't remember the term, but it's actors, but they've been kind of animated in a weird way, in a comic book way.
That's right. Yeah.
I saw the film The Watchmen, and it didn't really kind of resonate with me because I knew nothing about them before. I think it was very much you had to have been into the story prior to that to know the characters and know the backgrounds of everything to really get the film. I didn't
No,
really
I
get the
think
film.
that's how the book. I think that's if we are talking about, we'll have to look it up and make sure we're talking about the same thing. But if we are talking about the same thing, I think that's how the book was. It wasn't like that he made some superheroes. It was just one book about this bunch of sort of almost superheroes, because they're very strange. They're not sort of they're not like your Superman and Spider-Man. They're very dark in their own rights.
Yeah, they're kind of flawed, aren't they? They're all flawed in one way. Yeah.
Yeah. It is. The Watchmen it's a comic book. It's by, as I said, Alan Moore, who wrote V for Vendetta and From Hell. And there's an artist, David Gibbons, who he's worked with, and a colorist. And it was published first by DC Comics, and then it became, it was turned into a graphic novel.
Oh, I apologize. Right, it's definitely that one then. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a single volume edition, and it originated from a story that Moore submitted to DC Comics featuring a superhero characters that the company had acquired from Charlton Comics. So basically, Moore created original characters instead. People like Rorschach and various other superheroes who, they're freelance and they've been outlawed, and they're either in retirement or working for the government. So
That's it. Yeah.
that's the one. There we go. Yeah, that's Alan Moore as well, who wrote it.
What an interesting chap. Yeah, V for Vendetta. That one that's three very different storylines. Love it.
Yeah, Moore is really very clever. I do like him a lot, actually. But the one he works with, the illustrator he works with who drew the panels with From Hell, is very talented as well. I mean, the paneling is the drawing is so dark. It's black and white. It's so kind of dark. So yeah. Big up. This so far.
Nice, right.
Yeah, good.
If you, I know you're not really a movie person, but you'll have to give the watch, and if you haven't even read the books, give the movie a watch. It is a bit far out there, but if you see the undertone of the stories he's trying to tell you, I think it's a really good film.
I will watch it. I'm a big movie person. Definitely,
Oh, okay.
I'm a big movie person, but I haven't watched films lately. But I mean, I've watched hundreds, probably thousands, in my time. Probably, yeah, must be so many. Thousands.
He's what films, thousands of them, sir.
I think it's good when you get someone as well read as you. You kind of assume that they're into books and they're not into movies. And I suppose I made the assumption that you just weren't into films that much.
No, you remember when you visited once? You said, "Well, all these DVDs here, I've never heard of any of them," and they would have been like, I mean, I'm pretty much into trash horror, Italian giallo, that sort of thing, and folk horror films, sci-fi, all sorts, personal relationships, foreign films, American films, classic from the golden age of American cinema, Japanese. It goes everywhere with me. I just love the medium of film. I think it's the great artwork. It's one of the great arts of the 20th century.
Nice.
So there you go. There you go. That's my take on cinema.
Nice, lovely.
Well, I mean, thing is, because I'm self-taught, I don't have these boundaries. I don't have boundaries. If I see something like a trash novel, I think, oh, I've go on that. But other people say, oh, that's not actually literature, is it? But I read everything and I watch everything that takes my fancy.
Yeah, and well, do you know what? Back in the day, I was very much in the system, if that's what we want to say. And I was, not only did I like the film Star Wars, but I bought lots of merchandise and I would watch all of the people talking about the upcoming films, and I would decide that I liked the film just because they told me it was going to be going to be good. I was very much in that many years ago. But I love that since I woke up and sort of came out of the system and didn't bother with adverts and decided I'm going to watch what I want to watch. Some of the stuff that no one wants to watch is some of the best stuff I've watched. Again, if you get out of the system and don't listen to what they tell you you're going to like and just say, what do I actually like? And go on. You were just saying about foreign cinema. Like there's some Japanese. And again, as a dyslexic, it's great. But I just watch. I don't have to read the subtitles. I don't care what language they're speaking. I can make the film up in my head. And usually I'm pretty much right anyway, because a picture tells 1,000 words. But yeah, I love watching Japanese. There's some European stuff, but I'm not into the darker stuff like you. I'm into more superheroes and sci-fi and true stories.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, there is some good stuff out there. You're right.
There's loads of good stuff. Do you know the Studio Ghibli films from Japan? I don't know if you've seen any of those, but like Spirited Away and all those. I don't know if you've seen those. They're drawn. They're basically Ghibli's the Japanese Disney.
Yes, I have seen quite a few. I'm not so good with the names like you, but it was one of my favourite Japanese films. Is it Azumi? I don't know and it's about a female warrior that's sort of kidnapped at birth and she's forced to become an assassin, and it's her the Japanese tell a great assassin story of trying to get to the goodness of being a wholesome person after being brought up to kill people. Great movie. Yeah,
they do. I like Japanese films a lot. Yeah, but if somebody gets me, I'm there.
Yeah.
I don't follow, as you say, like you, I don't follow, everyone says, oh, this is the film of the season. Maybe that would be true 10, 20 years, 30 years ago. But now the film of the season seems ridiculous. I just don't want to go and see Barbie. Maybe Barbie's interesting. I'm just, but it might be to examine what the hell's going on. What does this mean? On a sort of cultural level. But I don't know. Someone tells me, "Oh, you got to watch this," and I think, I don't know.
Well, you picked a particular film there, and I was just going to throw my 10 pence in and say I don't have a problem with Barbie, because again, it's the He-Man of my day for girls, and I'm not interested in what girls want to watch, but I'm sure girls loved that, and Mamma Mia, and again, I'm not trying to be sexist. I don't give a rat's arse, and we should come back to, yes, I'm proud of being a man, and you're proud of being a woman, but either way, yeah, it's kind of a very Barbie. I suppose girls grow up with Barbie, so they want to see. No, I wanted to see He-Man represented in real life, and now actually, I don't know if you guys are into He-Man. He was definitely my generation, but they've just bought a film out, and I watched it a couple of weeks ago. One of the greatest, so funny. They don't take themselves too seriously at all. But it's if you liked He-Man, it's a great He-Man movie.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I'm absolutely happy with all that kind of stuff, especially stuff like. I mean, I was a big fan of Scooby-Doo. I think I can't remember which one, but it got really good. Really hilarious and ridiculous. And it never took itself too seriously. That was when I was a kid.
Those films, wasn't there?
The films. I'm thinking of the series as well. I mean, the series. The films are a bit woke now, aren't they? And they why obviously make, is it Audrey? What's the one with glasses in it?
Velma.
Why do they why do they make her clearly a lesbian when it was obvious she was a lesbian? In the actual.
Don't say that. She was my favourite. I had a crush on her when I was a little boy.
Daphne was the best one, but Thelma was. I don't think she was made clearly as a lesbian, but I think that has maybe lesbians have kind of adopted that kind of image in later years.
Maybe.
So I would say
the
other way around. Yeah, I mean, Scooby-Doo.
They're doing what they shouldn't do. When I watched Scooby-Doo, I didn't understand sex. I don't want to know if she's a lesbian, if she's straight. I don't care. She walked around with a dog. She's got the criminals.
I never ever made that connection myself. So that one's on you, Viv.
No, I didn't make the connection at the time. But when I look back, I think, just as the same way as the Shaggy and Scooby are clearly stoned hippies.
Yeah. Shaggy. What's Fred? Fred must be gay then, because he looks extremely gay to me. Now you bring it up.
Maybe I don't know about that, but Shaggy and Scooby are clearly stoned. That's why they're always after Scooby snacks, and they're hungry. They've got the munchies after smoking weed.
Yeah, well, I don't think Scooby existed. I think Scooby existed in Shaggy's head.
I like it.
Tripping.
I used to it.
But back in whenever it was, the 80s and 90s, when TV was back in the day when we still only had whatever it was, 4 channels, and I think it was ITV. ITV was the only channel which showed stuff kind of into the early hours of the morning at the weekends, and I used to come home from when I worked in a club, and what was on TV was absolute shite. But they used to have a kind of like a sort of a music kind of program, and it was hosted by this guy called Casey Kasem, right? And he looked like a Thunderbird.
Oh yeah,
he looked like a Thunderbird's puppet, and he used to wear these kind of typical, very jumpers, sweaters that looks like that would have made his mum very proud. And I only found out later that he did the voice for Shaggy. He was the voice for Shaggy.
Oh, he did, didn't he? You're so right. Yeah.
So I found that quite amusing. But yeah, I was more of, I did like Scooby-Doo before they brought in Scrappy-Doo. Scrappy-Doo was when it started really falling apart.
Yeah, exactly.
But going back more towards the kind of Japanese animation, if you're talking about He-Man 4D, I was more into Battle of the Planets. Do you remember that one?
Loved. Oh, that. Do you know what? I haven't heard that. That was possibly one of my favourite cartoons of all time.
It was great.
I'd say it was a Japanese version of Thunderbirds, because they all had their own ship, and there was 5 of them. Oh, that was brilliant. And the Japanese know how to do sexy, even for a young boy. You know, those girls were very sexy in that. It was Battle of the Planets. You've really excited me there. I remember that.
No,
I didn't mean that in a pervy way. That was such a good cartoon for a young boy of my age. Yeah,
it was very good. Yeah, they hit the mark. But anyway, listen, time's pushing on, gents. So, are we still talking about? Sorry, one thing I've got to ask you for, who the hell is John Hancock?
Oh, I know. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm so sorry. I was literally talking to someone while I was doing me fucking writing, and I was saying, oh yeah, John Hancock. That I was telling the story of why we get signature is your old John Hancock. And then I'm writing that, and it must have been in my head. And I wrote, so sorry, yes, we're not talking about John Hancock at all.
There you go, proof that men cannot multitask.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. I did write a comment. If you read the comment, I did put a comment saying, I'm sorry, I didn't mean John Hancock.
He only had one job. Well,
and actually, very, very quickly, just so I can get it in before we do the comedy and the person, I was just going to say that today Anne Whitcomb was put to rest. So that's another this day in history, sort of, but it's today. But also that story has still got more tentacles going out, and we're now hearing about a possible fire bombing incident to Nigel Farage that's in relation to what happened to Anne Whitcomb. I just wanted to quickly throw that.
A couple of other things I just quickly like to touch on. We'll have to restrain ourselves from going too deep into them. One, of course, was the as we mentioned, was the eclipse, but there was also, which was yesterday, but there was also apparently a lot of astrological planetary alignments. It was very significant yesterday.
Yes.
I've no idea what any of that means, but I just thought I'd chuck that in. And also something that we probably should have maybe mentioned last week, and probably not much to say about it anymore, but this proposed alliance between Restore and Reform that Rupert Lowe put out. He kind of put an olive branch out to Nigel Farage whenever it was, a week or so ago, looking to kind of bury the hatchet and try and find some common ground. And that seems to have just completely dead in the water now. They've aired all their dirty laundry in public, and it just seems to have completely collapsed any hope of that happening. So it doesn't look good there. What I did actually think, if they did ever manage to join forces, they could rename the party Restorm.
It was interesting. Yeah. I think it was, I think it was obvious that he put that out because he knew Nigel wouldn't say yes to that, and it's his way of putting a line in the sand, saying, "Look, I was the bigger man. I offered it." I don't know what I think anymore. I've always said I hope Rupert wins, and I hope he's in charge. And in fact, we've got a couple of hours, and the polling will be closed for not Macclesfield.
Clacton.
Yeah.
Is that tonight, is it? Oh, right.
Yeah, okay. I think polling closes. Oh, it'll be probably closed. Closed.
11.
Is it 11? Right.
Yeah. So we'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I will say what I kind of thought was a bit strange about it is how Rupert Lowe put out a video outlining his proposal. And I kind of thought, this is really the sort of thing which should be done behind closed doors between the two of you. This should not have been put out in public. So I kind of thought that was a bit odd.
I disagree. I think that was the best thing he did, because that's the problem. Everything gets done behind closed doors. And I think a lot of us are fed up with that. We want, even though it's two-faced possibly, and it wasn't, but I still want to hear, I don't want to just hear, oh yeah, I called him and it's all gone, because I don't know what actually happened. So now I know he actually put that out, whether it was what he actually wanted or not. So I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know what you're saying, but it's ended up with them just kind of having this very public kind of even more of a falling out because now they're accusing each other of this, that, and the other, and nothing is at all has been resolved by it. Maybe that was his actual intention. He actually knew what he was doing by doing that for whatever reason. But yeah, I mean, he one of his demands was that Reform get rid of some of their Tory defectees. He didn't actually name any names, I don't think. And then, of course, Farage, hit back and said, "Well, I got in touch with him. I didn't hear anything back, and of course, I'm not going to get rid of my allies and blah 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 blah." And then Reform came back and said, "You've got to Restore have to, if we're going to have any kind of alliance here, then Restore has to get rid of Charlie Downs." Which is completely ridiculous. That's never going to happen. Charlie Downs is a pretty sound guy, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, it all seems to have kind of crashed and burned, which was kind of quite predictable, I think, which is a shame because the right really do need to find some kind of coalition, I think, now, because apparently Labour are now have overtaken Reform in the polls, whatever that if that counts for anything. Maybe that's just the honeymoon period for Burnham. So yeah, I don't know. We know if any of the left wing parties, if they do kind of get a sniff of power, they're going to form coalitions to cement their power. So I think the right has to do something or other along the same lines, which doesn't look like it's going to happen at the moment.
Yeah, my thoughts on all this, but anyway, I won't go over them again. It's best not to.
Yeah, I didn't want to get too deep into that one. I just sort of chuck that in there.
No, I don't think we should. But at the same time, if that Count Binface gets in, oh my God,
he won't.
The British public are no, but I just think sometimes the British public we're too kind of we are like a laugh, don't we? We're like a character. And Binface has been everywhere because he's an establishment stooge.
Yeah, but it's not just them two. There's a whole list of candidates in that election nobody's ever heard of.
It's the largest. It's the largest poll. Yeah, there's loads. It's the largest list in British electoral history.
Yeah, it's just none of the main so-called main parties are standing. So, but yeah, I'm sure Farage will win. I'm sure.
Well, sometimes the worst case scenario could be the best case scenario. I.e., in a way, I hope Binface does win because he's not a politician. He hasn't got a clue what he's doing. I think these people do this to be disruptors. They don't actually ever plan to win. They just want to cause chaos. I think if he actually won, he'd be screwed.
No, he wants to win. He's got powerful backing.
Do you think? Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's not the one driving that. He's just a puppet for establishment. Establishment forces, as Viv says. But I mean, I'm kind of starting to entertain the thought now that maybe what really needs to happen is for Farage to go. I think maybe things might actually be better off if Farage was not leading Reform. I could be wrong, but it's just something which started to.
He has a certain appeal. There is a charisma about him, which, as I always say, you need that from a politician and a public figure. But there's also a problem with Farage. His public image and some of the statements he's made. And I mean, I don't know, Reform and even Restore seem they seem a bit kind of, I'm not going to vote. I don't vote, but I think they could be a bit more forthright about things. I mean, Reformer.
I would say that about Reform, but not Restore. Restore have been very forthright, I would say, in their policy ideas. Reform are the ones who are kind of being a bit wishy-washy and.
Oh, they have, yeah. I want a political party that gets elected on the basis that they would dissolve the government, and the government and all actions in this country go down to local level, and we we choose by lottery the people who sit on the councils. There'll be a national, I mean, presumably there'll be a national council for matters of defence and national matters, but mostly everything needs to come down to the local level, and it needs local people for local, local.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that's what I mean,
Yeah.
really. But that's just me. I'm a bit of an eccentric in that regard. I
Well,
think
yeah.
I think this concentration of power in the centre has been so damaging. I feel.
We'll have to make a good talk about this next week. I think we'll have to get into this.
Yeah. Sorry about all that, folks.
No, because I think it's a good conversation, especially with tonight's, whatever happens tomorrow morning, we'll know. And I think next week we'll have to have a good talk about, because politics in England really, or the UK, it scares me. I don't know where we're going. So we'll have to have a good talk about it.
Yeah, and how it can be made better, basically what steps can be taken to just stop this drift to total control by the centre, which is also controlled by offshore bodies, as I keep on banging on about. The globalist entities, the WHO, the UN. Anyways, let's move on.
Well, listen, you've got 22 seconds to talk about the comedian, and then Bronze has got 13 seconds for jokes. Go.
Jawohl, mein Führer. Jawohl.
I think the funniest part of that was it was Bronze that said, "Right, I don't want to get into this deep," and then Bronze went off deep into it.
It always happens. I think basically, we've exhausted Hancock just as he exhausted himself. I would, I would recommend people have a look at Hancock, because he's very important in the development of British comedy. The whole situation thing, the whole the baffled lower middle class man who's trying to make it in some way, who's resentful, who's angry, sarcastic, but. It's, as I said last week, it's a snapshot of Britain emerging out of the austerity of the post-war years into when it hits the 60s. Who'd have known what Hancock would have made of that? But we had people rising up like the Monty Python crew and Peter Cook, Dudley Moore, all those characters to take comedy in a new direction.
Well, the bit that I put on the end of last week's show was the bit that Bronze sent me, and I didn't, as I said, I know nothing about Tony Hancock. But that I found that very. You said, I don't know what was that funny about it or whatever. I can't remember what was said, but I thought that was really funny. That's an armful. I've not come here for an armful.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so how much are you going to take? Well, a pint. A pint? That's almost an armful. It's a matter of life and death. Maybe nothing to you. Matter of life and death to me.
Yeah. It's a very British character.
Like a Scotsman. Comes in.
Scotsman. Oh, that was so embarrassing, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay, so who will it be next week then?
It's over to Bronze, I think, isn't it?
Okay. Well, I am going to. Well, we might get a week or two out of this one. I am going to bring forward a Mr. George Edward Cole.
George Cole. Very good. Yes.
Probably. Once again, he's not a comedian as such, but he's famous primarily for one character he played, which was Arthur Daly, who was a comedic character in the TV series Minder from more or less the 1980s.
And he developed, right?
Yeah, and he developed this character Arthur Daly, and he's one of the one of the forgotten great British comedic characters in British TV. He's not been forgotten, but he developed it into such a great character that I kind of think he's worthy of a bit more attention for that.
Yeah, I agree. And the Trinian's films, he was in those as well.
Yeah, he played Flash Harry in about 4 or 5 St. Trinians.
Yeah.
Just looking through some of his stuff, he was quite interesting, quite an interesting guy. But rather than getting into that now, maybe put that on ice for next week, and we can get into that one a bit more next week.
Yeah,
so
sure.
George Yeah, born 22nd of April 1925, died 5th of August 2015. He had a long career. He had a good old life. Oh, yeah, George Cole for next one. There you go.
Good call.
So I guess you want some jokes.
I'm writing that down so that I don't get the wrong name on the blooming thing this week. Right, that's written down. That's in there.
Cole.
Yeah, it's not
Cole C-O-L-E.
It's not Nat King Cole. It's not Nat King Cole. It's not old King Cole.
Yeah.
Now, that's just going to confuse you more now, isn't it? Now I've planted seeds. But yes, George Cole. There you go.
Yeah, okie dokie, lovely. Yeah, got to entertain me.
God, you are desperate, aren't you? All right. Wrap yourself in. What do you call two crows standing next to each other?
Don't know.
A shadow?
No, attempted murder.
Oh.
Oh, right, yeah, murder of crows. Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Good. Okay, I asked a conductor what he thought about the use of heavy tempo fluctuations and dramatic pauses to treat Beethoven's Ninth as an emotionally expressive vehicle. He said he found it an old-fashioned concept that diminished the majesty of the piece. If I didn't have a valid ticket, I'd have to get off at the next stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, the eclipse was yesterday, as we've mentioned, and I heard a good way to look at it was through a colander. So I tried it. It strained my eyes.
Not to interrupt your flow, but everyone was telling me that today where I was, and I was like, a colander? I don't even understand how that helps, and I don't want to know, but anyway, yes. A colander.
Yeah, colander, not to be confused with a calendar.
Is it I pronounce it as colander.
Vivs confused. Now it's colander, C-O-L.
I know,
Colander.
I know, but I always pronounce it as colander. Maybe that's a Suffolk pronunciation. Colander, not colander. Colander.
Well, you call snails Dodman, for God's sakes.
Dodman, you're right. You are right. Yeah, Dodman.
Yeah, you are straight.
And turkeys are called gobblecocks. So there we go.
Cock gobblers, as Bawdy likes to rephrase it as.
Do you know we got a lot of hits on last week's show because of that title? So
yeah.
Okay. Some people think that butchers are gross, but people who sell fruits and vegetables are grosser.
Good. Yep.
If you had the choice between £1 billion or world peace, how many swimming pools would your new house have?
I don't know. Is that the joke?
That is the joke, yes.
Yeah, right. Okay, irony.
Yeah. I once asked a girl out and she turned me down. She said I had a face like the back of a boat. I didn't say anything. I just gave her a stern look.
Yes.
How do you quit a gym membership? You give them a 2-week notice. 2 week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Got it.
What did the drummer name his 4 daughters? And a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4.
Lovely.
That is a good one. Cool. At least that's one I don't have to think about for the next week. Think, what's he going on? What's he going on about?
What's green, has 4 legs, and will kill you if it falls on you out of a tree?
I don't know.
This one's an old one. I thought you might get this one, Viv. The answer is a pool table.
Right.
What?
What is green, has 4 legs, and will kill you if it falls on you out of a tree? A pool table.
Yeah, yeah. That is I think that is the category of surreal jokes.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that one before. That one's a really old one. That's what
I've
you
not
do.
heard that. It's good though.
I tried to catch some fog, but I missed.
Mm,
Ah.
dad joke.
Time flies like an arrow, whereas fruit flies like a banana.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
10 boxers walk into a bar and the bartender starts insulting them. And that's the punchline. Yes, no, okay.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
I think I was laughing too quietly and my mic didn't pick it up.
Mm,
You will laugh more loudly in the future.
mm, mm.
Oh,
That's
Aha.
better. The most symbolic flag is the blank white flag of surrender. Only because the designer, who was supposed to put something on it, just gave up.
Ah, excellent. Yeah.
And finally, I felt Tourette's would ruin my life. Now I teach at fucking Cambridge. And it's a good night from me.
Thank you for a wonderful chat, guys. Yeah, cheers for that.
Yeah.
Good one. Good one, fellas.
Yeah.
So, yeah, until next week, see what happens in Clacton.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, be interesting to see what happens tomorrow morning. I'm sure it'll be all over the news, whatever happens. But yeah.
Or maybe not. We'll see.
Okay.
I'm still here,